Perspective, hosted by Eagle Land. All things Colorado ranches from the owner's perspective.
Well, good morning. Welcome to another podcast, the Eagle Land Brokerage. Welcome to the owner's perspective, where we're going to talk about ranches and everything Colorado ranches. And so today is no exception to that. We have a very unique property located in Ouray County in the valley. Just an amazing, amazing piece of ground that's got a lot of history to it. And so, yeah. What do we got here, Joey?
Well, not always do we get to sell ranches that have been in families for over 100 years, but we were contacted about marketing the Kettle Ranch, which was established in 1891. So just to give perspective, 1891 is the same year that the town of Ridgway was established.
Wow.
And this family came into the Ridgway Valley at that same time. It's gone through multiple generations, and which is interesting because I know some of the Kettles that live in Montrose and very good friends with them, and this is actually generational family who's been here, for well over 100 years. So what we had the privilege of selling is there was two properties that they had, and we were contacted about selling 136 acres of valley ground. Just right west of Ridgway in the valley. And, if you know Ridgway, Colorado, you're 27 miles south of Montrose. You're just right at the foothills of the mountains. And it's an area that's just been, sought after for years by kind of the industrialists of the country. So the Ford family had property outside of Ridgway. A Ford Motor Company. Audrey Hepburn had a ranch out there. The movie True Grit was filmed right outside of Ridgway, and the scene of True Grit was filmed right in downtown Ridgway. So this property sits just 2 miles from the town, but it's this beautiful little valley floor. It has just tremendous views to the east, great views to the south, and we get phone calls all the time that say things like, hey, get me a place that's close to town. We don't want any neighbors, which is kind of hard to find. We want huge views that are unobstructed, and we want to have a river flowing through it with wildlife. Well, this property has Dallas Creek coming through one side, and then is it Pleasant Valley Creek?
Yes.
Coming through the other, that run through this property. It has, a year-round county road that goes around the sides of the property. And what's really interesting about this particular piece is in Ridgway, you're not allowed to develop property in the valley floor less than 35 acres. So the way this property was situated years ago, they allowed them to take off a couple little houses. So there's a couple 1-acre sites where the homes are located, and the homes are older, but it's got these really unique kind of old barns that are all like hand-hewn logs. Yeah, really, really cool. So there were two pieces of property. One was the lower property, 136 acres, with big views, and then to the south they had a piece of high country where folks used to take their cows in the wintertime. They would put them in the valleys, and in the summertime they'd take them up to the pasture. Well, they had this property that was just south of Montrose, straight towards Mount Sniffles. So when you're at the tip of this property, you're just maybe 3-4 miles to the tip of Mount Sniffles. So the view of this 14,000-foot peak is just
Right in your face.
Oh, it's just enormous. And in fact, when we take pictures of it, we have to put disclaimers like, this is really the view. They're like, that's not the view.
We're not zoomed in.
No, they call us, you guys are you guys use these cameras that are expensive and you zoom in. I'm like, no, that's the view.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that kind of a property with that kind of a view. And so it's just 110 acres. And the reason it's 110 acres is the family had a larger property. And this is multi-generational, so it's been in the family for 110 years or such, and more than that, and 130 years. That's crazy. 130 years, and by the time it gets down to this multi-generational thing, it's we're selling it off in lots of heirs, dealing with. So this is like one little sliver of a bigger holding that they had, but this little unique nugget, this 110 acres, huge view to the south, county road access to it. It's right on the roadway to Blue Lake. So there's a hike that you can go on as you go right through the double RL, which is the Ralph Lauren Ranch. You go right through the middle or through the edge of it, clear to the very back edge, and you can park, and you go to Blue Lakes, which are these glacier lakes that are just, you can still fish in them. And it's actually one of the ways that you can hike the back way up to Mount Sniffles. So a lot of folks will go to Blue Lakes and stay the night. And then in the morning they'll get up early and they'll climb the backside to Mount Sniffles, and then they'll go to Ouray and jump in the hot springs, and it's great. So I've never hiked the back way to Mount Sniffles up, but I've been to Blue Lakes and I've hiked the other side to Mount Sniffles. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful area. So this property, this 110 acres, sits just right on that path. Huge, huge views. Very, very challenging. I mean, the amount of times that property that comes in the market that we're talking about is just very, very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare.
I was thinking about that as you were going through this. But for both of them, they're complete different properties, but they're both unique in their own way and also rare in their own way. Like they're a 130-year opportunity.
Yeah, that's right.
Because in that valley, I can think of maybe 3 or 4 principal owners that take up the entire valley, the west and east side.
Yeah.
And so the opportunity to buy anything down in that valley is very limited.
Yeah. And so I mean, I think that's the next step of this. It's before these even came on the market, the stir of, oh my goodness, they may be able to be bought. We've just had a tremendous amount of activity.
Yeah.
So I keep filling my truck with fuel. So I'm going back and forth to show these. They're just really, really rare opportunities. And so, we try to make presentations of properties so people have opportunities, and they're all under contract. We're under contract very quickly, and very short closings, and are going to close. But, it's just the idea of, the economy's bad. Oh, look what's happening with the world. How's this going to happen? And what's going to take place? And I'll just tell you this, the safest and best place you can put your chingaderos when the market is in a little bit of a tiz, if you can stand the cash flow, is to be in land. Yeah. And it's just like this, A+ properties always sell, and this is A++ properties. Fantastic opportunities. And that's what's so cool about presenting ranches to folks. Everybody has different price points. Everybody has different levels in what they can get into. But this is the fundamental situation. The Joey Burns, Dave Ramsey moment, buy land.
Yeah.
It's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So,
well, these are amazing pieces, and they're both have attributes that people like Ralph Lauren, what reason why he bought into the area.
Oh yeah.
Is these encompass those at a smaller scale.
Yeah.
And it is super desirable. Just great pieces of real estate. They're both very different, and we knew when these came on, or when we were presented with being able to sell these historic ranches, that they would not last very long.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised they even made it to the market, open market.
Well, yeah.
They just about didn't.
That's why we're having a podcast a little bit later. But it's all good. So that's why people need to stay close to us, because we can make phone calls quickly. I mean, we have another opportunity coming up right now that's just very rare on the river, hard to find. And it's a property that is not on the market yet. It's going to be. And so make phone calls, folks.
Yeah, well, that's a good point you bring up. There's a lot of people out there. I probably have 4 or 5 that just are like, I would sell, and I would show it.
Yeah.
But I'm just not wanting to put it out there. But there are deals that are out there. They're just sellers that just want to be really low key and don't want to put their stuff out there, but they would sell.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's the one thing about our business that's unique is we have a lot of clients that we're close to, and we spend a lot of time with them. We know their properties, and they know that their properties have that kind of quality. Mm-hmm. They just don't know if they're going to go to open market, and they're really looking for opportunities. And the challenging part is that they get the money, they don't really know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. So they kind of have to play it to where when they get their resources, it's a good time to sell. So it is as we get these opportunities, sometimes the seller calls and says, "Hey, I've got this opportunity I can deal with. If you can help us, we can make this happen." And we have to really get through the database quickly to find that. And a lot of these transactions are off market. So that's been our best selling feature of Eagle Land Brokerage, has been our network, just great clients, great patronage over the years, and the ability to take care of them and situations like this that are complex. Where I'm working through a situation right now where because it's 1891, we have a death certificate that we can't find. And so we have to get an affidavit signed by an individual who's unrelated parties that knew the individual that died in 1962 so that we can get that signed.
Yeah.
And, it's not buying and selling.
Yeah,
Tract
downtown,
house-
yeah,
tract
downtown
houses in
Montrose.
Montrose.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah,
what
a
we
bit
do.
more nuanced. And
Yeah. Why don't you guys sell that stuff? I'm like, we can't. We just not our specialty. Our specialty is taking care of very unique properties, many times in complex situations, dealing with a lot of legal people and making things right.
Yeah.
So it's what we love to do. And it's what we've gotten really good at. So
Yeah.
So I think we're good.
Awesome.
Thank you for watching.